I'm sorry.
The time is now 6 o'clock and we'll call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda, but with an amendment to table the compliance, the audit compliance acceptance, as well as the team.
Do I have a second on that motion? Her motion, Madison,
Can you repeat the second part?
Yeah, I also would like to table the painting until I can get further documentation.
I have a motion to table the audit compliance questionnaire and the painting on the agenda. Do I have a second on that?
And second.
I have a motion and a second. Before we vote, I would like to let you know that the audit compliance does need to be approved by the end of this month, or we will be docked on that from the auditor. Do I have all in favor of?
Jill,
Yes?
am I able to add that, we were told that this meeting was a single agenda item meeting, as well as, something as important as the audit compliance and, this other thing should be handled on a normal business, in a normal business meeting setting, not on a special meeting,
I understand. We were notified by Tyler that it needed to be done by the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. And so with that information, it had to go on this agenda. All it is accepting it by roll call vote that we have received the audit compliance questionnaire. It is not saying that we fixed it. It is not saying that we have reviewed it or anything. It is just saying that we've received it.
And I just want to add that my understanding is that this is new for this year, and it's not something we've had to do in the past as well, so.
Correct. So I had a discussion with Tyler today. He advised me that if this is not done by June 30th, that the auditors are already in the process of re-auditing us, and that this will come up in the audit as another negative because we did not do it by roll call vote by June 30th.
So we will be having the audit.
I'm sorry, Libby, you're cutting out. What did you say?
So for clarification, we will be having a meeting and audit, discuss the audit.
We will. This is just saying that we've received the audit from the auditor. We have to do that by roll call vote stating that yes, all board members have received the audit. We will be having a discussion regarding the audit items and what has been done to correct them and how they can be prevented in the future, most likely at the August meeting.
Okay.
So right now I have a motion to amend the agenda with removing the audit compliance questionnaire and the painting. So all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nay. Libby, do you have a vote?
I would motion to table the riddle painting.
Okay, we have to vote on this motion first.
I know, which is why I have no vote.
Okay, so the motion does not pass. I'm going to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. I would like to hear the discussion on the riddle painting, so therefore I'm going to motion to leave it on the agenda so that we can at least hear the discussion about it, and then if the board does not feel it has adequate information, it can be moved to be tabled at that point. So that is my motion to approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a second on that? I second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda as presented, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
I have 2 nays and 3 ayes. So the agenda will stay the way it is, and we will at least discuss the items, and then board members can table them if they feel they do not have enough information to vote.
Okay, Jill, can I ask you, did Libby then abstain from the original motion?
Libby, what was your vote on the original motion? Were you an abstention or a yay or a nay?
Correct, I abstain.
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mrs. Cooper, will you please lead us? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Christy, do we have public comments? This is the time for the public to comment. Time limits may be allocated on public comment at the discretion of the board president for the board to efficiently complete its business. The board reserves the right to prohibit any comments made in a discourteous or threatening manner. Complaints about specific individuals, students, or personnel are discouraged. Personnel issues should be directed to the appropriate staff member or administrator per district policy. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date. The one public comment we have is for Dr. Barnard. You know the drill, you'll get 3 minutes. I will raise my hand when you're 30 seconds away from being done. It's 2 minutes and 42 seconds. You're good to go.
Hi, here. Hi, everyone. Madam President, the board members who are present, those on the phone, and Dr. J. I'm here to speak tonight regarding the performance-based pay discussion that occurred at the last meeting and is on the agenda for tonight. I know that some of you sitting on the dais have worked in the corporate world, in education, and other ventures. I'm sure most of you have had a supervisor who gave you a performance evaluation, and some of you may have even been a supervisor giving a performance review. That being the case, what I don't understand is how an employee or a supervisor would go to a review without having the adequate information for a discussion and the information needed to make a decision on the appropriate performance-based pay. On April 12th of this year, the board voted unanimously 5-0 on the pay for performance plan for teachers. You clearly reviewed those guidelines and the expectations. I'm sure you did so with the understanding that those providing the teacher evaluation would do so with due diligence, securing the evidence needed to make a decision on the performance pay. It was also clearly stated in the board packet for June 7th that there was an executive session. The board may go into executive session to review the superintendent's performance incentive goals for the 2022-23 school year. So I know that you all knew you were going into an executive session to discuss the performance pay. Even if you did not use the full hour to discuss Dr. J's performance and his pay, certainly you had enough time to ask questions, seek evidence, and make a decision on his pay. I'm confident that you know one of your primary responsibilities is the hiring and oversight of the superintendent. That being said, some of you simply failed as supervisors and district leadership by not fulfilling your responsibilities in a timely manner. Did it suddenly occur to you walking up from the executive session to the dais that you needed to ask about a contract? Or was it just the theatrics you hoped for, following the trend like Scottsdale PD and Apache Junction? Now I come here and 2 of the 3 tabling the conversation aren't even able to make this meeting. Did you not know that by statute you needed to approve Dr. J's performance pay prior to the end of the fiscal year? Or did you know and hope not to face those who actually support Dr. J? I guess I don't know. But from my vantage point, Dr. J has done what has been asked of him. I know that teachers have come and expressed their support, staff and families, but that doesn't seem like enough for you. You being unprepared is not an excuse to deny Dr. J performance pay. I respectfully ask that you detail your reasoning if you choose to deny it from him. We might not be as loud as some. We might not post grammatically nightmarish posts anonymously. But parents in this town matter. Our great teaching staff matter. Our kids matter. Please do what's right by the district. You know and I know, as well as everyone in this room, that without Dr. J, the district falls apart. And I hope and pray that the district falling apart is not your intent, because it sure is starting to look like it.
Thank you. We have no other public comments. So next, the first action item is superintendent performance-based compensation pay. As we discussed at our last meeting, according to the contract, Dr. J is entitled to anywhere from 0 to 5% for his performance-based pay. The contracts have been sent to the board. There was an error that statute 15-341 was being referenced as subsection 40. It should be subsection 39. You've all received the letter from the attorney expressing that that does not negate his contract or our duty to talk about the performance-based compensation pay. I also looked into why it was referenced as subsection 40 and not 39. That has also been sent to you. The statute 15-341 was changed back actually in 2016, so unfortunately that has just carried over from previous years and no one caught it, including our attorney. So what happened was in 15-341, subsection 25 was removed, which then forwarded everything up a number. So that's why it's now 39 and not 40, but it still doesn't change the fact that in his contract, he is entitled to 0 to 5% based on the goals that he has met that were set by the board. Subsection 15-341 also lays out performance-based pay, but a board has a right to come up with their own criteria for receiving performance-based pay, and that the board has done that many years ago, and it has carried through with each new board and superintendent. So are there any questions regarding the performance-based compensation pay?
I just want, if Dr. J thought about finding the pay for performing the pay.
Libby, you're cutting out.
Move away a little bit.
Here, maybe if we put it away a little bit.
Go ahead, try now.
I just wondered if Dr. J or the rest of the board had thought about declining the pay for performance this year to show good faith to the community and staff. I know that he's working hard and to respond because it's an agenda item. I believe I can respond to Dr. Barnard. I had actually asked for documentation as to what we should expect in regards to paying Dr. J's pay for performance evaluation. I had to ask for that. So yes, I did try to come prepared to that meeting. I've had planned vacation, which I am not there this evening. And I'm planning to return in time for the big board meeting on the 28th. I left the morning after a prior board meeting. So again, I'm going to ask if Dr. J has thought about declining the pay for performance this year.
I will let
No.
Yeah, I'll respond. I'm surprised by that. It's, I love the district. I've worked hard for them. I continue to. When I came on board, I did not negotiate my salary. I took what was offered. When I had a chance to renew, I again did not ask for a raise. I kept the same salary, which I believe is the minimum that's been paid here. I tied any raise I get to teachers because that's what I'm here for is kids and teachers and our staff and our parents. And so the only way I can get an increase is if our teachers do. And so if they get an increase, then I do. It's not, for me, it's not about the money. For me, it's about the I'm a representative of all the work that our teachers, staff, and parents have done this year to get us in a place where we feel like we're heading in the right direction with enrollment up and staff retention up and I think morale and climate up and those types of things. So for me, it's more about I'm a representative of the district, and if the answer is that I don't earn that pay, then I think that's also reflective of our whole staff, because they're the ones doing the work. I guide them, I give them the ideas, but they're the ones who are out there doing it. So it's not about the money, it's about the fact that if you're asking me then that, I would say, what have I not done? And what is it that would require you to do that? And again, why is that being asked of tonight and not prior to when we've had time to discuss that?
Well, we did go into, go ahead. We did go into an executive session, sat down, went through all of Dr. J's goals. And I've worked in many school districts, and I've seen how things work. And I have to say, if he didn't reach every goal, he surpassed most. And the ones he didn't achieve 100%, it's pretty close to that. I do believe that the teachers, the staff, everybody feels as positive as they do because of Dr. J. I know sitting here on the dais, I feel very positive about our entire school district. And I see absolutely no reason why we would not grant him the performance-based compensation, okay? He deserves every bit of it.
Go ahead, Dana.
I move that we give Dr. J the 5% performance pay.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, but Madison still would like to say something. Go ahead, Madison.
Yeah, I just had two things. One, Jean, your comment about, that if the bonus is not rewarded, that reflects on essentially the whole staff not, or the whole district not meeting the goals. I think that isn't the best approach, because I think that's absolutely not true. I think that we have a lot of faith in the progress that's been made, and I think we've been trying to aid in that progress. I know that I've been trying to push our district forward. I just don't know that right now, with the state of our district, that it's the time for our leader and our figurehead to be taking a bonus. That's my hesitation, is that, we have a lot of things that we're trying to get done, and I think that we're moving that way, but I think to move for a bonus and to reward a bonus is maybe a little bit premature, simply because I know that there are a lot of people, especially with the last bond not passing, that are still hesitant to trust and to feel positive about our district, and I would really love to turn that around.
I disagree.
Yeah, and I just want to comment. I don't look at this as a bonus. I look at it as performance pay, and I think there's a difference. The difference is that part of my contract states that 5% of my salary has to come from performance based on the goals that were set of me. And based on that, I do think, again, it's not about the money. It's about the fact that you, as the board, had set goals for me, and then I turned around and set those goals for administrators. And then those administrators went out and set those goals for our staff. And so if we're saying those goals have not been met, then yeah, that is saying that our district did not get the job done and we did not meet those goals. So yeah, it starts with me, but it also is reflective of everybody who's part of this, because we have all our goals aligned. I have every principal has aligned. We had their fall conference. And all these initiatives that we've done have been unified across the district. And the teachers are the ones out there who are doing that. And just like they get a performance pay, the superintendent does as well. And so again, it's really about the goals that were set, meeting those goals. And again, I just believe that the staff has proven that they have earned that collectively. And they get their own performance pay as well for the work that they did.
I know you guys all really want to support him, but I have to ask that you stop clapping. And, you know, I feel like we're in a really different position than we were last year at this time. And so I understand, you know, Libby and Madison, that I keep hearing from both of you, well, there's a lot of mistrust in the community. I'm not hearing that same mistrust that I did last year. And so I know that there is a small group that is very loud, but there's also a lot of quiet people that definitely support what's going on in the district. They support our superintendent, they support our teachers support our superintendent, because we don't have nearly the teacher loss this year that we did last year, because they're staying because they want to work with him and they appreciate his leadership. We did not have relationships with the Kiwanis and the Rotary and the Realtors and so many different organizations last year, because that had been squelched by the state of our district. He has rebuilt that. We asked him to build enrollment. He has built enrollment. He has come up with creative ideas to get kids to come over. New programs, you know, building the preschool. That he works 24/7, and I'm just not in a position to say, you know what, thanks for all you've done the past year and building the trust with the community, but we're still not gonna give you that performance-based pay, because I think he's worked for it, and I don't agree with you when you keep saying that there's a lot of mistrust in the community. I think there's a lot of mistrust by a group that you keep talking to, but I don't necessarily know that they're the majority anymore. Please, thank you. So,
I shared with Kane and with others, there are people that supported the bond last time that are questioning this time. I think there is still some distrust. People are just holding their breath and waiting to see where this district goes. And so all I'm saying is that I think that now is maybe a time to hold off on something like this, especially if it's not about money.
it's about the principle of the matter and the fact that he's worked for it.
It's not extra, it's part of his pay.
So, yeah, it's not about the money for him, it's about the principle of it, that he's worked for it, and it's, by telling him that we're not going to give him performance-based pay, it's telling him that he has not done a good job, and he has done a good job. For the past year, he has done nothing but support this district and build those relationships with our teachers and staff and the people in this community. He attends every single group that he's been invited to. He met with the Realtors this morning. He's part of the chamber. He's part of the Kiwanis. He's part of the Rotary. He gives a lot of his time for free, and I don't believe that he is not entitled to that performance-based pay. It's part of the 301 money. It doesn't go anywhere else. It was meant for performance-based pay, and I believe that that's what it should go to.
And I just want to add that if there are community members who have that concern, I have an open door policy. They can come visit with me anytime. I've reached out to as many people as I can that have had concerns, and we'll continue to do that. And I will meet with them anywhere to discuss things. We value feedback, and we want to continuously improve at what we do. But I would encourage, if there are people who feel that way or are concerned, that they come meet with me, and I will take them on a tour. I will give as much time as possible to let them see the things we're doing, and hopefully we can go from there.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. So all in favor of Dr. J receiving the 5% performance-based pay, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Me.
Libby?
I abstain.
Libby's abstaining. Madison's voting nay, and we have 3 yays. Motion carries. Next up is the board acceptance of the audit compliance questionnaire. As I stated during the approval of the agenda, this is just stating that we have been given the audit compliance questionnaire. It will be on a future meeting for discussion, and we will go through each item on why they happened and how we will prevent them in the future and if they've been corrected. So this is a roll call vote. So we're just going to go through, and you can vote yay or nay, or you can abstain. At some point, I think we need to have a discussion on the valid reasons for abstention, because there are only certain reasons you can abstain. But I will.
We need a motion.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to motion that the board accept the audit compliance questionnaire. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. We will go board member by board member. Dana?
Aye.
Lillian?
Hey,
Libby?
Yes.
I'm a yay. Madison? Madison, are you there?
I'm gonna abstain.
Madison's abstaining. So I have 4 yays and 1 abstention. Next up is the date change for the June 28th business meeting. You were all notified by Dr. J that there is a conflict. He will be at a conference, and as much as he's tried to change his schedule, it was not possible. Plus, there will be a couple board members not available either. So I am going to motion that the board change the date to July 10th. A possible July 5th or 6th was also put out. That's not available as well. So I'm going to motion that we change the date to July 10th for the business meeting work study session. Do I have a second?
Can we have a discussion on this first?
We will as soon as we finish the motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Madison, go ahead.
Well, I would like to know how the conference was overlapped with the meeting, because when I originally questioned the date of this meeting because of my scheduling conflict, I was told this was set in stone a long time ago and that there was really no way to change it. So,
Yeah.
I know that Lily was told the same thing as well, so I just want to know why all of a sudden now we're able to change it.
Well, I'm gonna take the blame for that. It is an oversight on my part, and I do apologize to anyone for that. I scheduled the conference in advance. I am coming back on that day, and I thought I would be back in time. And when I was, preparing for that and looking at my calendar, I realized that I'm not going to be back in time. I did try to change the flight. I did try to move things around. I was unable to do so and still be able to complete what needed to be done. So I brought it to the attention of the board. And again, I do apologize that I did overlook that. I will work to ensure that that doesn't happen again.
And you're correct, Madison, that when you asked, it was no, and when Lillian asked, it was no. If 1 or 2 board members typically aren't available or could call in by phone, we don't reschedule board meetings as long as we're going to have a quorum of board members. But unfortunately, not having Dr. J here, it's not possible to have a board meeting without him. So we were left with no choice. But we still have to have it by July 15th because the budget has to be approved.
So when was and I know I asked this earlier, Dr. J, I wasn't sure if you were able to check or not, but when was this conference scheduled? And I looked at the average conferences, there were multiple options. Is there a reason that we didn't choose one that wasn't finishing the same day as this important meeting?
Yes, there because I have a calendar as well, and some of them fill up very quickly and are unavailable to go to. So when I made the decision back when I did, that was the best weekend or week. It's not even a weekend; it's a Monday through Wednesday. It was the best week that worked for me and my schedule. So that's why I selected it. Again, the cost of the conference is free to me as the district director, and it was just the one that worked the best for me in my summer and with my schedule. So it was. I don't have the date. We only got off the phone about 30 minutes ago before this meeting, 30 minutes before the meeting. So I've not had a chance to look, but my guess, if I had to guess, I would say probably a couple months ago would be my guess. That once the dates came out, that's when I confirmed it. And I just want to also add that I have attended these conferences as principal. It is something that is part of being a district director, that you're getting continuous professional development, you are connecting with other directors, and I can tell you that the one thing that I believe very strongly with conferences is you get a lot of great ideas, and a lot of the ideas that moved us from a high school from a C to an A in the years I was principal there came from all the ideas that you get from other people. That collaboration is really important when you're in leadership, especially when you have no colleagues to really work with in this position, being only one superintendent and also a very small staff of people. So being able to reach out and see how other people do it, how other people have been successful, I believe is the best way to grow your organization.
Yeah, I understand. My problem is not with the conference itself necessarily. conflict.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
Well, we've seen the fallout, and it's not just that now, it's not just that our future meeting is now needing to be rescheduled. That also kicked this stuff back to this meeting, which gave us last minute additional items to review, which is the reason I didn't feel confident voting on that, audit complaint, because I've been driving for the last 2 days. So we can't do this for our community where we run things in a way where it's not organized or not laid out properly to where people know what's going on, So I don't understand how there was a conference scheduled over a meeting that's been in place for at least a year now, and then that it wasn't recognized before now. I guess I just don't see why it wasn't recognized a month ago.
Well, Madison, we all make mistakes. And so, like I said, Krista didn't catch it, I didn't catch it.
It's very rare that we actually have to move a board meeting, that it doesn't happen at all. And we really tried to not have these special meetings. We wouldn't most likely have had this special meeting had the pay for performance not gotten tabled at the last meeting, so that pushed this meeting.
We keep saying that, Joe, but I mean, the last meeting was at 5 hours when we finally called it, and we had to table other items as well, and the meeting before that was 4 hours. So I think that we need to do something both on the preparation side for the board, so that we have access to the materials that are going to be presented as early as possible, and then also on the side of the public where we keep the dates that we have outlined to the best of our ability. And we've had a lot of additional meetings, we've had a lot of things moved around, and I think that we just need to do better from here on out.
Well, I understand, Madison,
I
okay, and we all do the best we can. So, right now I have a motion and a second to change the date to July 10th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead, Libby.
We don't have a time for the 10th. I mean, you're calling for a question, but in our packet it says July 5th or 6th at 5, and I would just request a time for July 10th before we vote.
It would still be 5 o'clock. Okay, did you hear me, Libby?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So
So this is a Monday, July 10th?
it's Monday, July 10th at 5 o'clock. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? I'm sorry, Libby, go ahead, what did you say?
I said aye.
Okay, so I have 5 yeas for July 10th, 5 o'clock. Next up is the purchase over $100,000 Riddle painting. I know there's a lot of questions on this. Before any motions are made, I at least want to hear the discussion and the reasoning behind it, and then if the board does not feel that it has enough information, then there can be a motion to table, but I do want to hear the discussion.
Madam President, members of the board and guests, the reason for this last minute addition, and I want to clarify, the reason we've had to have additional meetings and had to add things to the agenda is because we are consolidating 3 different schools right now, and we get one time a month to bring you information. And sometimes things happen between that, trying to get all this done. We are moving, 11,000 boxes, we're moving all kinds of things in different directions, and things are coming up, and as much as we want to be perfect, we're a very small team. We have bus drivers and classified workers doing all kinds of jobs every day here to make this work. And so we're all wearing a lot of hats, and we do apologize that we had to ask for additional things to come through, but please know it's only for the fact that this is consolidation. I do not foresee this being the norm, as it wasn't the first part of the year before we did consolidation. We did not have any real last minute things unless it was something that just really had to be addressed. So with that, we did a process, a bidding process for painting, and the district went with Riddle Painting. They have currently are finishing the new McDowell Mountain. They have painted the entire building, so every classroom, every hallway, the team rooms, the lobby. It is all fresh, and it looks beautiful, and we're very happy with the work we did. That total amount to do that whole building came out right in the high 90,000 number, right around 98, 99,000. So what we found is that there is additional work that we need to do at Little Falcons Preschool to get it ready for some of the things that are happening there. One is that we have some gracious donations from PTO that are going to be in that center space. And I want to make sure that that's painted and that it looks nice when they do all that work. The second thing is the teachers came to me from Little Falcons and basically said, hey, you know, all the elementary teachers got their rooms painted. When are we getting ours painted? We talked about doing it later in the year, but then they made the point of, you know, we don't want to take everything down again, so is there any way we could get it done? And I wanted to get it done for them as well, since they're moving rooms. So to go with Riddle, to me, they've already done the work, they're already here. We're on a time crunch here. We did bid it out, and I think the work they've done has been really solid. If anyone wants to take a tour, we'll go over and take a look at the work they've done. So this is, if we even spend $500, we're going to be over $100,000, it looks like. So we're going to need to, if we do any painting in the district for anything using that company, we need authorization from the board. The other option would be that we do not get that done in time, and then we'd have to go back after the fact and paint it. And I don't believe that's going to save us any money. It's just going to be a lot of extra work for people. So again, this is something that possibly our maintenance team could have brought forward earlier, but it is something that I feel like we do need to get done for our teachers.
Madison, go ahead, Dana.
Question on the bidding, that they bid on the McDowell, or the new McDowell. Have they bid on the Little Falcons?
They're in the process of it right now. We should have results tomorrow.
So we're not approving their contract, we're just saying that.
Proving that I can spend over $100,000 with Riddle until the end of this year, which is June 30th.
Only though if the contract, you're saying the contract's not gonna come to us.
You guys have authorized the approval to spend over $100,000, and then we manage it from there. I expect this to be somewhere between $20,000 and $25,000 is my guess, to do that whole wing.
So I have a question on that. So looking at the quote that they gave you for the middle school, it looks like it was 206,000 square feet. Am I reading that correctly?
That's the way I understand it.
Okay, so
208,000 square feet.
it was what?
It appears it's 208,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I thought you said 206.
Oh, you're right. Maybe I did say 206 because even though with my glasses on, I'm apparently old. So maybe I need new ones. So 208,000 square feet. So if you take their quote for everything, the paint, the primer, the painting, the drywall, and their scissor lift, and you divide out the final quote by the 208,000 square feet, it's like 50 cents a square foot. But if the square footage for the preschool being painted is $25,000, why would the project, 25,000 square, gosh, I'm just like.
I got some here.
And again,
25,000 square feet, then why would we be estimating 20 to 30,000?
I don't have the estimate yet. Those are John's numbers he gave me when you asked for them, and I can give you a copy of it before we purchase anything. But I mean, bottom line is that if we want to paint that area, it's, you know, we can bid it out again if we want to. We can go with a different company. That's fine. It's just getting it done in our time frame that we have available. Remember, we had to wait for everyone to move out. And that was a lot of work to move everyone out. And there's still, Leah's been over there all day working on that building with her teachers. There's still a lot of things that are being still moved from site to site. And so we're kind of on a time crunch. But I don't expect the difference in price to be extreme between the vendors because the last bid we saw was pretty close.
Right.
Yeah.
My concern is.
None of this money has been spent as of yet. We just have a quote for 99 and 500, and then you're looking at an additional amount that will send us over the 100 for a total.
Yes,
Right.
yes, correct. So it's not,
Well, we've already contracted them for the 99,000.
Sorry, what did you say?
No, go ahead, Madison.
Oh, I was gonna say, has any effort been made, since we have additional work, to rework the pricing and maybe negotiate a little bit more of a discount, since that one bid was a tiny bit less, like,
Yeah, John always is working with our companies. That's why the bid, they were out, I believe, today and finishing up tomorrow, the estimates. Some of it is just, you know, the complexity of the work. There's, you know, some of them, like in the middle school, there's 18, 20-foot ceilings in certain areas. You have to, that's a lot of work. The fact that it's a rounded room, I don't know if that fact, I don't know enough about it, but I can tell you that we have a very tight budget for this consolidation, and anywhere I can save money, I've been trying to save money to get the things done that are priorities for us, that we want to get done. So,
Madison, I just wanna go back to your question. You asked if the money's already been spent, the 99,000 for Riddle painting. Yes, they've already been hired to do that
it's
work.
encumbered, yes.
Yeah, it's already encumbered, so they're already doing the job.
Yes.
We haven't paid
okay,
it,
so I guess the only leverage would be reworking a discount on the additional rate.
Right, so if nothing else, I would like to see them honor the 50 cents a square foot that they did at the middle school if we're going to give them more painting at the preschool.
I will bring that to John.
and
Well, so could we, you know, obviously we can, but if we're going to move for some sort of motion here, you know, I would be agreeable with Jill's comment of setting up a motion of a not to exceed amount of the 50 cents a square foot to Riddle painting, but to just issue a blank check here for
Well,
$20
yeah.
is a little bit worrisome.
And I don't know if there's a discounted bonus for over 100,000 square feet or 200,000 square feet. So I don't know if that's an actual, again, I appreciate the math, I appreciate looking at it from that perspective. But I don't know if every, you know, if I order something in bulk versus not, I don't know if I'm gonna get the same price. So what we can do is we can, if you wanna set a limit, like I said, that's fine. I just need to be able to tell the teachers, they have their licensing coming up July 15th, and I just need to make sure that they have everything they need to get their rooms done, so.
Can we table this until we have the quote, because they were still working on giving you an exact quote?
Well, that wouldn't be till July 10th, and by that time, our teachers would have to have their rooms set up, and they'd have to tear them all back down again.
you have to explain the license.
The licensing is July 15th, we have our licensing visit. When we have that visit, every space a kid's gonna be in has to be set up exactly the way it's gonna be on day one. So the rooms have to be set up the perfect way, all the child, you know, all the child prevention. My kids are older now, I forget all the phrases for that, but, you know, the light sockets and things like that. So all that's got to be done, and it has to be ready to go. And so when I talked to Ms. Matus about it, she, and I want to say also that, you know, this was a request from our teachers 2 days ago when I was visiting the site. And I felt kind of like, you know, maybe we overlooked this, we'll get it done for you. But I also feel like they've done a lot of work to be supportive of the new preschool, what they're doing, and they asked for their rooms to be painted. I thought that was something we could do for them. I think it goes a long way for our teachers. We talk about retention. These are things that get teachers to stay, is when they feel like their voice is heard, and we step up to the plate for them. And it's something that we have to do anyway at some point, so I figured let's get it done while we have a painter here. And again, like I said, I'd love to be perfect in everything we do, but with this consolidation, I just don't think people realize how many moving parts there are and how few people are controlling the you know, those parts. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dana.
We have a contract with them now that includes a lot of verbiage besides 50 cents a square foot.
Right.
I think look into the possibility of making a change order to the existing contract, so all the extra verbiage stays in
Sure.
place. And quite frankly, I don't have a problem with not to exceed 50 cents a square foot if you want. But I don't, as square footage can change. You can start.
Right, John says, it says approximately 25,000, so if I were going to make a motion,
You are.
okay, so I motion,
Wait, before you do that, I have the requisition, the painting purchase order, and it says 25 cents per square foot, so I think the math is actually 25.
no, because you didn't add in the paint and the scissor lift that they used. Like, I took their whole bid, Madison, because you're just looking at the labor. They still have the,
No,
like,
it has everything broken down, so I have the scissor lift on here, I have the labor.
I know, the 25 cents is just for the labor and brush rolling. It doesn't include the paint.
Oh, right, you're saying like for the new job.
Right, so I'm saying they're gonna need more supplies for the new job, and that's where it came out to like 49 cents or something, 47 cents. So my motion would be that we approve the Riddle painting for no more than 15,000 for the little preschools. What?
I'm doing a square footage,
Okay, a square footage. So,
50 cents a square foot.
okay, so I motion that we approve the little Riddle paint, or whatever they call it, the Riddle painting and coatings for the Little Falcon preschool to not exceed 50 cents a square foot, but I would like the contract to show what that square footage is. That's where I'm a little,
It's gonna be what it is.
so I made the motion, do I have a second on that?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any other discussions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, I have one more question. When did we know we needed this work, and when was the how long ago was the company contacted to get a bid for this?
I said earlier that the preschool teachers approached me 2 days ago and asked for this work to be done.
Okay. And the company's been given all the information and they're working on a bid, so we have no bid, and, okay. Okay, we can vote.
Okay, so Dana was a yay, Lillian was a yay, Libby?
With the not to exceed 50 cents a square foot, it's a yay.
Okay, I'm a yay for not to exceed 50 cents a square foot. Madison?
I'm a nay.
Okay, so we have 4 yays and a nay, not to exceed 50 cents a square foot. Dr. J, if that's not the bid that comes in, then please notify the board immediately so we can figure out how to proceed.
Well, let me just ask, I mean, if not, the next thing that pops in my head is I go with a different company and get it all painted, correct? I mean, we have to paint the building. Okay, so if it doesn't come in, then we'll,
The building.
What'd you say,
It would
Libby?
be a very nice thing to do for our teachers. And I would like to make it happen for them, but I don't think it's one of those things that's a requirement. So just like to note that, it would be nice to do for our teachers since they would like it. But one of the selling points of the middle school, being our new elementary school, was that it was very nice, in great condition. And I feel that. I walk through that building and I think it's beautiful.
we're talking about the Little Falcons preschool, not the elementary school.
Right.
Okay, well, I've been in the rooms and they're in pretty bad shape, the paint, so I think if we're trying to grow enrollment, and as a parent, I walk in and the paint is bad and it looks dirty, I don't know if I'm sending my kid there. So I disagree, I think it is a requirement, and I think we owe it to our kids to have freshly painted rooms.
Dr. J, I have no doubt in my mind that because of the move-in and move-out costs that they don't have to incur, if they're already here, will be well under 50 cents a square foot.
Libby, go ahead.
You know, I just feel that we're sitting here, we took a vote, and the vote is meaningless because he just essentially said that it doesn't really matter who go around the board and get it painted with another company, so.
No, he said he would look for a company that would adhere to the 50 cents.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Well, hold on, we're not done. Future action, if there's something you want to see on a future meeting, please notify Dr. J or Krista. Upcoming meetings are June 28th has now been moved to July 10th, and then we'll have the board retreat on July 26th. Now, Libby, motion to adjourn. Dana seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I know.
Hey, I have two. One, do you still need, I love it. Do you still need